The worksheet? No, not while I'm talking. I've started talking now. Thank you, but you can after I finish. All right, so I'm gonna go through this really quick. The first page is gonna be pretty simplistic because all we're having to do is do exactly what we did on questions 1 and 2 on our do now, is identify what type, meaning give it a name, a function is represented by those graphs. All right? So at the top, they give us all the different parent functions that we studied so far. We have parent function graphs. We have a constant function. A constant function is going to be a straight horizontal line. The equation for any straight horizontal line is where our slope is 0. Remember we talked about that last week. Horizontal lines have 0 slope. So that means your equation is going to be y equals just some number a, where a is a real number. So y equals 3 is a horizontal line. Y equals negative 15 is a horizontal line. Then we have our favorite, linear functions. Is a straight diagonal line where the parent function is y equals x. Then we have our newest function that we've learned this year, is the absolute value function. The parent function is going to be y equals the absolute value of x. That graph is going to be a V-shaped graph. All absolute value graphs are a V-shaped graph. Then we have another function that we learned back in Algebra 1 last year. We have a quadratic function. Quadratic is curved like a parabola, which is a U-shaped graph. So like this picture right here is a parabola. It's a quadratic function. I just kind of told y'all the answer to that one. All right, these are the 4 functions that we've studied so far from Algebra 1 up until now. All right, so let's look at these examples. Let's look at example number 1, A. It says, the directions say identify the type of function represented by the graph. So we're looking at a picture, and we're basically telling what type of function that picture is. Now, for me, you do not have to write these big, overly exaggerated sentences. Just tell me what the function is called. We're going to keep it real with each other. So like on A, they wrote too much. Just tell me what type of function it is. So you should be looking at that the graph is a diagonal line. So what type of lines give you, it has to be a line number 1 and it has to be diagonal. Well, that's going to be a linear function. So all you should have put on number 1 or A is that it's a linear function. That's the answer for this picture. Does that make sense? So you don't have to write these big exuberant sentences. Just write what the word is. All right, B, I've already answered B for you. B is a U-shaped curve. It has a curve. It's curved. So the only curved function that we've actually studied is a quadratic function. Or you can just put quadratic. On this one, you could have just put linear. Just as long as I know you know how to identify how the graph looks. All right, so 1 through 6 down at the bottom, that's all you're doing. You're looking at all 6 of those problems, and they give you various graphs for you to choose from and look at. And so what you're going to do based on those functions is you're going to go through and you're going to write 1 word or 2 if you use the word function. You're going to write what type of function it is down on those 6 problems. So does everybody see the 6 problems I'm talking about? So number 1, you should be able to really quick answer what that answer is. It's a diagonal line. If you get confused, guys, you can always go back and resort back to the table that they put at the top and look at what the characteristics and criteria is for categorizing these graphs. All right? So 1 word, maybe 2, but a sentence is unnecessary. All right. Can you pause it real quick?